Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back again for a bit of a transfer roundup. I wanted to get this out yesterday, but a very busy day with work and unusual Friday finishing off the week. So thought I'd do an early Saturday morning one just to bring you up to date with the latest sort of transfer news doing the rounds in the Villa verse, incomings and potential outgoings. So we're going to cover quite a bit on this one. Before I do, though, we are over 1,700 subscribers. We're on the road to 2K. So you would be doing us a massive favor if you could hit that like button and hit that subscribe button to help us grow and keep pushing and pushing and pushing on. The growth of this channel has been phenomenal, and the support that you guys have given us has been crazy. So keep it going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to become a member and support us even more, it is just $1.99 a month. Hit the join button and become an official Villa Park Pod follower. So let's get into transfer news. So first of all, in terms of incomings, there's been one or two rumours flying around across the week, and we did cover a couple of these in our live show the other day. So do check that out. First of all, one player who is out of contract at West Ham this towards the end of this season, like at the end of this week, sorry, June the 30th, is Manuel Lanzini, and apparently he has issued a come and get me plea to Unai Emery. And Lanzini is one of those players who always tends to come on and score a key goal or do something really well for West Ham. And I've always kind of been fairly impressed with his technical ability, and when he's always tended to cause us problems, and he's a very clever player. Whether he would be useful for Villa, I'm not too sure, and whether it's someone that we would need. Again, I don't know, but I've put him on SofaScore here and kind of compared him to his fellow countryman Emi Buendia. Um, and it's quite difficult because he hasn't played so many games. I've utilised the 21-22 season for Lanzini where he featured in more games, but if we look at his kind of stats here, he's kind of fairly steady across all metrics. 57 on attacking and creativity, 58 on technique, tackling 38 defensively, and 39. Obviously, Buendia is kind of ahead of him on the creativity and attacking sense. Lanzini's maybe a little bit more a little bit more kind of stronger in the defensive capabilities and it may be slightly more physical. But it's difficult to utilize a comparison. But Buendia is probably the closest. 30 games played the season before last. 19 started, averaging 60 minutes per game. Scored 5 goals, so not too bad in terms of goal return. The season before last, like I say, in the Premier League, and score of very spectacular goals at times as well. Goal conversion 31%, which is pretty good. 4 out of 8 goals, 4 out of 8 inside the box, 1 out of 8 outside the box. Scored with both left foot and right foot as well. 3 assists as well, so yeah, indicates a clever ability to pass. Accuracy of passing is excellent, so at 92%, 94% in the own half, 88% in the opposition half. And then in terms of tackles, 0.9 per game and 0.6 interceptions per game. And duels won 49% and successful dribbles at 69%. So, yeah, a very good player technically, and someone who is, I think, West Ham fans have been, very fond of him over the years. Available on a free transfer. Would he be a useful member of the squad? You guys let me know in the comments. Obviously got Europa Conference League experience. Could be a good voice in the dressing room. Obviously we'll know Emi Martinez and Emi Buendia. So who knows, but we'll see on Lanzini. I think there might be one or two other clubs interested in him, and obviously further on we'll go. It might be a player that we do. It's not one that we go for. We might move for someone else, which we'll cover in a second. Another player who's cropped up as being available is Thomas Meunier, right back from Dortmund. Again, 31 years old, available at a cheaper price of about 3.3 to 4 million. a player again who we covered the other night in our kind of who would we buy live show, but very has had an injury hit time at Dortmund, and it's one where I don't know. Would he be coming in as backup? I said it kind of smacks of like an Augustinson type signing, that kind of player who comes in to fill a body on the squad, but is not necessarily going to put too much pressure on someone like a Matty Cash. Obviously, looking at here at his stats, again 61 in terms of defensive, 63 in terms of creativity. Matty Cash obviously is stronger in the defensive side, not as high in the creativity stakes by a long way, and not as technically gifted. But I think the injury issues for Meunier could be one. He's only played 10 games this season in the Bundesliga, started 7, hasn't scored a goal, and even previous to that, if we go the season before, I think it was something like 17 games that he'd played. Yep, 17 games, 2 goals, 2 from inside the box. So, and 4 assists. So that's not a bad return. 4 assists from 17 games. So maybe likes to get forward. I think the general consensus is that he's a decent player going forward. He's got decent delivery, but not the best in terms of defensively. And with Matty Cash, we've got a player who he's wholehearted, needs to work on his creativity. He's good in the tackle, but again, defensively, we've said he's got weaknesses in his defensive capabilities. If we bring in someone else in who is equally, is not quite as strong as him as a backup, then I don't think that's something that we need. But again, international experience, Belgian international. Obviously, we've got Tielemans, we've got Den Donker as it stands. He's got 62 caps for Belgium, scored 8 goals. So, knows where the net is, and could be, a potential player that could be useful in terms of squad. But again, you guys let me know. Me personally, I would prefer a younger right back and someone who could really put pressure on Matty Cash and one for the future rather than going for a 30-year or a 31-year-old player who we're not going to really get any return on. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. And if you're going to get rid of Ashley Young, why would you get someone in who's kind of 6 or 7 years younger when Young was doing a good job anyway? So for me, it would be to get a younger player. Exciting news is we were going for, or allegedly going for, Federico Chiesa and potentially putting a bid for him, which he promptly rejected. And I do think that there are going to be Champions League clubs after him if he is available. I hear Juventus are low on funds, so probably need to get some money in the coffers, and it looks like Newcastle, obviously, and Liverpool even are interested in him. So if those names are coming in for him, then I think we are going to struggle. But for the humouring reasons, we will compare him, and I think he would be a fantastic, obviously, player to bring in, and I do see him in the Premier League very soon. I have compared him to Ollie Watkins. I will put Leon Bailey in there as well, but it's a difficult one because he can play left, right, he can play striker. Looking at his heat map in terms of the Serie A, coming from the left, but is also on the right as well. So can play across the front line. Only played 21 games this season. Obviously, been injury hit. Only started 6 games, scored 2 goals. So not had his greatest of seasons. Provided 5 assists. Accuracy 79% per game, 89% in his own half, 67% in the opposition half, which obviously he's trying to beat players. In terms of duels won, 48%. Ground duels won, and successful dribbles 1.1 per game, so 56% per game, which isn't bad at all. If we look at kind of the season before, again, not too many games played, 14 games played in the Serie A, 2 goals scored again, and 2 assists. So, this is a player who probably is a little bit underplayed, but whenever we've seen him play for Italy, he's been absolutely fantastic. And I recall a couple of tournaments where he's been absolutely brilliant. So, he's a very highly rated player. and causes defenses problems. Got 40 caps for Italy and scored 4 goals. So, you know, again, a player who has got that pedigree could, like I say, cause defenses a lot of problems. And I do expect to see him in the Premier League. Would be a good addition to our side. I obviously would be, but I do see, you know, at the moment, higher level clubs going in for him. Now, a player that we covered in an episode, probably 2 or 3 transfer rumor live episodes ago, but it's come back again yesterday, and that there is now concrete interest in Tyler Adams. And This one's an interesting one because we've obviously got quite a few midfielders. We've obviously signed Yuri Tielemans, but it's clear to see that Emery wants to strengthen that midfield. And generally we like to play that box midfield. And players like Boubacar Kamara have been injured this season for quite considerable time periods. McGinn has run himself into the ground at times as we've relied on Luiz a hell of a lot. So is he going to want to freshen things up with potentially a lot more games to be played and have that quality not dropping each, if he has to make changes for different games? And Tyler Adams probably does really fit the bill really well there. So looking at his kind of stats, and again, I've compared him to Boubacar Kamara. I mean, look at his heat map; he's all over the pitch. We know that. We saw how USA played in the World Cup. He was all over the place, and he might maybe need to calm that down a little bit because he does get injuries, and that could affect him. But looking at this, very similar, very, very similar to Boubacar Kamara. So, technically not quite as good. But in most other metrics, he's very, very similar. He's better in the tackle, not quite as good defensively. But, what we would be seeing here is if for whatever reason Kamara was injured and wasn't playing, then Tyler Adams would come in and be, a very, very worthy replacement, and would really put pressure on that. Equally, if Luiz wasn't playing or anything like that, Tyler Adams could come in, and you could equally see a Kamara Luiz midfield as you could see a Tielemans Adams midfield. And if you got someone doing the running like that, Tielemans then can get on the ball and play. So that's a really exciting signing. 24 games played last season, 24 started, and a big reason why Leeds struggled was because he was injured towards the end of the season. Obviously hasn't scored, gets about the pitch though. Passing accuracy 82%, 87% in his own half, 79% in the opposition half. Interceptions 1.5 per game, 3.7 tackles per game. So loves to get in the tackle. 57% of his duels won, and 55% of ground duels won, and 64% of aerial duels won. So a combative midfielder, likes to get about the pitch and really, really press and put pressure on, and that's again something that Emery really likes. Now he's going for around 25 million that we're hearing. Villa are interested along with other clubs, so it will be a little bit of a battle to get him, but I'm pretty confident we could. However, on the back of that, we are looking to offload some midfielders. So Nakamba is one of them who seems very, very close to leaving. It looks like Luton are coming in for him. It hasn't said a fee as yet, but I would imagine somewhere in the region of 5 to 8 million, I would say, because I don't think he's got long on his contract. Obviously, Nakamba's been a great servant to Villa and been a really not let anyone down when he's come on and played. And I think when Gerrard came in, he really did kick on, but obviously got injured and that kind of hampered him. But what goes with all our best wishes, and I'm sure he did a fantastic job for Luton and was a massive reason why they got promoted. So good to see him in the Premier League. I think that deal's 99% done. So great to see him moving on. But Nakamba will go. Sanson's looking to move him on, and even listen to offers for Leander Dendoncker. So that's where the funds, or some of the funds, will be gained for Tyler Adams, and also the squad depth there. So you're thinking of a midfield of Ramsey, McGinn, Tielemans, Kamara, Luiz, and Tyler Adams, along with the Irugbanums and some of the other young players. That's a really, really strong midfield. So yeah, exciting times in that midfield for Villa. Also, Keinan Davis has said that he wants to leave, and I think had he had a great loan spell at Watford, I think we could have been looking at sort of 10, 12 million, depending on contract negotiations and how long he's got. But we're probably looking at about 4 million now, and it probably do a good job for a championship side that are looking to get in the playoffs. So again, always looked pretty decent for me. Good strength, good pace, but never quite had enough for that Premier League in terms of ruthlessness. But would do a good job in the championship. So yeah, another player who we can get money for, and if you can get 6-7 million for a Nakamba, 4 million for a Davis, you're talking 12 million for two players there, which in the past we haven't been able to create, and we'll sell one or two other players, and all of a sudden you've got upwards of 20 million in the coffers. So look, it's what we want in terms of letting players go, but letting players go for money. And finally, obviously, Philip Coutinho is causing news, and Gerrard was allegedly going to go to Saudi Arabia, and all the news was he going to take Philip Coutinho with him? There's still a chance that Coutinho goes to Saudi, but I hear Fenerbahce are interested in him in the Turkish league, and probably one or two others in the Turkish league as well. However, it has been rumoured that Barcelona have a 50% sell-on clause on him. So anything that we potentially get for him, we're obviously going to have to split half of it with Barcelona. So I don't know how much we're looking, maybe 10, 15 million or something, and then we get half of that. So, but I think the wages is the key thing. And if we're not going to use him, I mean, I think he could be useful in the Conference League and in in our midfield to create things. But if we're not going to use him, if we're going to look to use those funds for other players, then we need to try and get him off the books. But yeah, you let me know in the comments what you think about some of the outgoings. Who do you want to see coming in? Obviously, Chiesa would be fantastic, but are you happy with like a Lanzini or Meunier? Are you happy that we're going for someone like a Tyler Adams in that midfield? Let me know in the comments your thoughts, and we'll try and answer them as best we can and have a chat about them. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. As I said at the start, please do hit that like button, and please do consider subscribing if you are new to the channel. We're on the road to 2K. And hopefully beyond before the start of the season. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and we'll be back later on in the week with more of these transfer rumour shows and live shows. But all for now, remember, thank you.